Hello to everyone. This is Rick from the TaxDome team, and I'm going to be guiding you through today's webinar. Now, today's session is all about reporting. Now, we've heard many times how important a robust reporting system is, and we're all well aware of the pain points that come with not having a good tool to help you with that. That is why we want to talk about our brand new reporting feature. So let's dive right into today's agenda. We'll start by having a small discussion about the purpose and benefits of reporting. We'll then talk about how our reporting tools work so you can get a good understanding of what you can actually do with the tools and how they're going to make your whole reporting process much easier. After that, we'll jump into the portal. We're going to show you the steps for creating detailed reports. And as part of this, we will talk about the dashboards, custom reports, the way you'll interact with everything, and much more. After we're done going through everything and giving you use cases along the way, we're going to wrap things up with some general tips to keep in mind as you start working with the reports in TaxDome. All right, so with that, let's get things started. As is the case for any business, regardless of whether you have 5 or 500 employees, you need to keep an eye on everything in order to keep business running smoothly. You're paying attention to the work your team is doing and what they're spending their working time on. What's even more important in many cases is the need to know about the revenue that they are bringing in. So let's think about how you're handling that right now. I'm sure that many of you are already seeing Excel spreadsheets pop up in your head, as well as a lot of manual work to get all of that stuff done. Now, this means that either you or somebody else on your team regularly spends a ton of time going over all the information, setting up formulas to get some concrete data, talking to your team about what's going on, sharing all of that information, and on and on and on. Well, despite this process being very inconvenient, firms still do it. And that's because having this information is crucial to your business's success. You need to be able to track your KPIs, your performance, your client satisfaction, and just have an overall understanding of how your business is doing. There is no better way to grow than by optimizing every aspect of your business, whether that be from a technical standpoint by using tools like TaxDome, which help you streamline your processes, or by analyzing your firm's data to see the strengths, weaknesses, and any other opportunities for improvement. Now, for example, you could have a client you're working with and you provide them the same service you're providing for many other clients. However, you realize that it ends up taking significantly longer for that specific client, and you're not earning any more from them than you are with other clients your team spent less time on. Now, at this point, you will want to look into the cause of this and maybe even reallocate resources to a more profitable client. It's all about finding and fixing bottlenecks, as well as realizing what's going really well so you can do more of that. Now, regardless of how you approach this situation, you'll have consciously taken a step in the right direction, which you could not have done without learning about the issue through your analysis and your reports. That's all common knowledge so far. I'm not telling you anything new. However, the issue we're trying to solve is the amount of time spent on collecting data and preparing your reports. Now, on its own, that process can take up a ton of time, which of course could otherwise be used to generate more revenue. And that brings us to TaxDome. One of TaxDome's strengths has always been to significantly cut down the time spent on repetitive and time-consuming tasks. It's no different with reporting. We introduced a whole new set of reporting tools to your portal in order to make the whole reporting process as convenient as possible. You'll have ways to keep track of statistics and metrics in real time, create new reports on the fly, narrow down and expand a report's details, and do a ton more. Now, all of that is crucial for businesses and specifically the managers within them. You need to be able to really drill down into all of those metrics and see how things are going and why they are going the way they are. So let's switch gears here a little bit. We're going to talk about everything you'll be able to do with it. Okay, first, let's go over the most important parts and clarify what they're for. You'll see a new section in the left sidebar menu simply titled Reporting. Good place to start, isn't it? Now, there you're going to find 4 pages which help you handle everything related to it: Overview, Reports, Dashboards, and the Report Designer. The overview page is there to give you a quick and easy way to access your most important reports and dashboards, create new reports within a couple of seconds, and also add and track your KPIs in real time. Now, just in case those of you, might be somebody out there, you don't know what a KPI is, maybe that's a new term. That stands for Key Performance Indicators, or in other words, some of the most important metrics that you will want to keep track of. Therefore, if you just want to see the status of your important metrics, or you want to access your other reports and dashboards, you'll mostly do that in the overview page since you have everything readily available right there. So just through this first page, we already eliminated the need to generate new reports over and over and over again to find and compare information. Now, let's quickly clarify the difference between reports and dashboards before we go on any further. Reports are the specific metrics you'll get for the inquiries you'll make. As an example, you can generate a report that shows you how many tasks your team members completed within, let's say, the last 30 days, or the amount of unpaid revenue you currently have based on your overdue invoices. You can then break down that information even further by tags, by service, by client, and more. The point here is that these reports will help you decide on the best course of action moving forward. Now, if you notice that your clients tend to spend a ton of time in a specific stage of your workflow, you'll want to reallocate resources there or maybe hire more people for that specific purpose. Not having a long queue of clients waiting for one step can help you process way more of them after all. So the reports themselves will also come in different formats, ranging from tables to charts. So you can tailor them to your needs both functionally and visually, since we know people prefer different styles. Dashboards are separate pages where you can add, view, and organize several reports that will update in real time as the metrics change. This means you can categorize and group your reports together and then view everything important for one aspect of your firm at once, instead of generating separate reports and having to look through them one by one. Now, we included a couple of preset reports and dashboards to help get you started. So I'll make sure to show them in more detail a little bit later on, but I'll just use one of them as an example for now. The Revenue Monitor dashboard has several reports related to invoices attached or pinned to it. You see those as tiles, and not only can you adjust those reports, but you can also add new ones or remove the ones that you don't find useful. So just to reiterate, your reports relate to one specific set of information, while dashboards are custom collections of several reports. This means you're likely going to set up some dashboards soon after you start using the reporting tools, and then visit those regularly for constant updates without needing to do any extra work. However, we do recommend using the default dashboards initially in order to help you familiarize yourself with the structure of the reporting tools first. So now that we know the difference between reports and dashboards, let's clarify what the Report Designer is. The Report Designer page is where you'll generate your new custom reports. When creating reports traditionally, you always have some specific data that you're trying to collect and present. Depending on how complex your search ends up being, you might have to spend a lot of time preparing it. The Designer helps you skip that process completely, since it lets you choose exactly what you want to see. It will show you the data sources you can pull your information from, meaning what the information relates to, and then you can either select all the attributes you need from that list in the page, or you'll be able to directly type what you're looking for. Now, you can think of it as a system of building blocks made out of keywords. You keep adding keywords until you get the exact report that you're looking for. Now, for those of you out there who are a little bit more tech savvy or have team members who are, there's also a way to use formulas and parameters to give you even more freedom and flexibility when creating your own reports. However, we won't spend time on going over the formula creation steps today because that's fairly advanced and the other available tools are already more than enough for the vast majority of users that are out there. Besides this method of generating reports, we also have an even easier way to help you get your reports quickly. Thanks to modern AI tools, you can freely type in what you're looking for into the search bar, and you'll get a report based on your description. So in this example you see here, I typed in a simple description of what I'm looking for. The AI takes a second to process what you wrote, and then it generates a report with that specific information. Now at this point, you could edit the report, save it so you can easily access it again from your reports page, or even pin it to one of your dashboards. We know that AI has become a big talking point in many industries nowadays, and we understand how everyone is looking for new ways to implement it to improve their experience in as many ways as possible. In our case, we knew that our reporting features are a fantastic addition to any firm's toolkit, but we decided to take it to the next level by incorporating AI into it. Now, over time, the AI will continue improving thanks to your feedback, and you'll be able to make more and more complex searches with the exact results that you're looking for. So, with these couple of pages, you'll have all your reporting needs taken care of. You have easy ways to create new reports, organization tools to help you keep your reports grouped and focused, and also a real-time display of your most important metrics. So now that we've gone over the basics, we can switch to the portal and go hands-on with the features that we wanted to show you today. Okay then, as I mentioned earlier, you'll find the reporting section in the menu on the left among the other important features and pages. I do want to mention something right away just to avoid any possible confusion. This reporting section and all the pages within it are by default only available to the firm owner and the admins. There is an option to enable it for your regular team members as well. It's in the team and plans page, or more specifically, the menu where all their other access rights are. So you can enable it right there, but do keep one thing in mind. If you do that, the team member will have access to all the metrics, reports, invoices, and revenue details, and much more. So in most cases, you don't want to enable this for everybody, but only for the employees who are really going to need it. Okay, so let's go back to the report overview page again and tackle one of the first pain points that I mentioned at the start of the webinar. One of the issues with traditional reporting methods is the time spent on preparing reports and pulling information just to get a status update on something like your KPIs, which we talked about before. Now, that's something every firm needs to keep an eye on, and with the overview page here, you have a dedicated section for those. Now, after you set up your dashboards and reports, you will be able to click on the Add KPI tile and then browse through all your saved dashboards and reports. You can then select specific metrics you want to see on your overview page and then add them. I'm going to go ahead and add one for monitoring my weekly paid revenue metrics. This is an important one. It will display the basic summary with the most important numbers right on the tile, and I can click on it to be redirected to the full report, where I can then interact with it or any other information in this dashboard. So this means that we've already solved one major pain point. We don't have to spend any time generating new reports to find out how our firm is performing. You will just want to set up your specific KPIs depending on your firm's needs, and you won't have to spend any more time on that process once you get it set up. Next, you'll want to know about your reports and dashboard right underneath the KPIs. You'll have easy access to them even without going to their pages. And on top of that, you can filter and sort your list here to see just what is important to you, as well as mark any as your favorites. Now, we know how having a blank canvas is not always a good thing, especially when learning to use a feature with tons of functions like you're seeing right here. So once you start using this feature, your list won't be empty. We already prepared a couple of dashboards and reports for you so you can both immediately benefit from the reporting tools and ease yourself into using the feature without starting from scratch. So you have these three: the revenue monitor, time utilization, and tasks and job assignments. Now, the most common types of reports your firm will need generally fall under one of these categories, and that's why we specifically made these in advance. So let's explore them and go over more ways to interact with those reports. Let us start here with the revenue monitor. When you think about your financial reports, there are a couple of important numbers that do come to mind. You need to know how much you're earning, what the sources of your earnings are, how much money you're currently waiting on, how much you're earning over a certain period of time, and more. Now, all of that information is crucial for any business, and that's why those reports are the first ones you'll see here in this dashboard. There's also a separate tab for your aged receivables for all the details regarding your overdue invoices. Chasing down clients who owe you money for the services you provide them is something many firms struggle with. You'll hear about this regularly if you ever interact with another CPA, bookkeeper, or tax professional, but you know the score. It's very difficult. Now, with these reports, you can instantly find out how much each client owes you and also how long their payments have been overdue. You can then use TaxDome's other tools like automatic reminders, the lock documents to invoice feature, and messages to reach out to them and handle this situation quickly. Just this tab alone will help you maintain your cash flow and reduce the overall management time. If you have all your important reports set up in their own dashboards, you can imagine how much you're going to benefit from them. Now, if I go back to the revenue overview tab, you'll also see reports which show you more information about your revenue based on the client, tag, and service. Now, I gave an example earlier where I mentioned that you would only find out through analysis and reporting when you might want to reallocate resources to more profitable clients. Well, this directly ties into that comment that I made before. You have a direct comparison point here to help you figure out how to distribute your team's resources without needing to do any extra work, research, or comparisons. Whenever you need the information, you just have to open up this dashboard and you'll see it and other revenue breakdowns as well. Now, while we're at seeing, we should also touch on the fact that you're not limited to bar charts and simple line graphs. I'm just going to open up a different report here to give you an example. So whenever you generate a report or edit an existing one, you can change the chart visualization. Now, we set up many options to choose from, so make sure to pick the ones you find easiest to work with. So that's all up to you to decide what you'd like. Now, besides this, there are also more things that you can do when you use the Explore option on the report tiles. You can see those right here. You can filter, add, replace, and compare data. These tools come in handy whenever you're looking for specific information and you already have a report which has some, but not all the details you need, or maybe the report you're looking at just has too many pieces of information. Now, in those cases, you could filter the report to narrow it down further, like how it's set to display revenue based on the last 3 months currently. If you require more information instead of less, well, then just switch to the Add tab here and enter what other modifiers, like some of these examples that you see right here. The other two tabs work in a similar way, in the sense that you enter what you want to change or compare, and then it will update the report. A lot of reports will display graphs to give you a reference point of the metrics over time, but when you need direct comparisons, you can have two sets of data this way. Also, I just want to mention, you don't need to worry about potentially messing up the original port that you had, since you'll likely still need that original. You can undo your changes in case you want to revert it back to its previous state. But an even better option is to first make a copy of this report. This way, you can freely make changes and keep both the original and the modified versions. All right, so let's pause here just for a second after going through these functions. I'm sure you already see all the value the dashboards and the reports bring in comparison to traditional reporting methods, but it's also important to emphasize this flexibility you have with each report. You can continue modifying them to give you the exact data you need with just a couple of clicks. And on top of that, if your firm needs to see more details about the presented data in the report beyond just the general values, you can click on the three dots in the top right corner of any report and then select the underlying data option. Now, this will bring up a table listing every entry. So, even though we gave you the shortcuts necessary to avoid looking at raw data, you can still dig deeper into your reports whenever you see fit. So let's head to the tasks and job assignments dashboard now. If you ever ask yourself how your staff's performance is looking, then this is the place to check. Here, you'll spend your time managing your team's load and keeping an eye on everybody's efficiency. Team performance analytics are just as important for any firm as the financial information, since they often go hand in hand. Many firms have regular performance reviews or quarterly meetings about this. Now, thanks to this dashboard, you'll have all the data you need for properly evaluating your team's performance. Right away, you'll notice this dashboard is split up into multiple tabs, just like the revenue monitor was that I showed you earlier. It's split for the sake of making it easier to keep track of information about already completed tasks and the ones that are still in progress. You'll check the in-progress tasks to see how many open tasks are being handled by your employees, but also to see how many tasks are related to which client accounts. You'll generally spend more time in the completed tasks tab, since you'll be able to determine which employees are underperforming based on their completion numbers. Now, this is another pain point for many firms. If your employees are not performing well and you don't realize it, you are bound to generate less revenue. Now, that is cause enough to look into it and resolve whichever issues might be preventing your employees from getting their work done. So you'll either want to keep an eye on this dashboard for that particular purpose, or you could set up KPIs in the overview page to help you stay in the loop without actively dedicating time to checking everybody's numbers. This task completed weekly KPI tile serves this purpose quite well in most cases. Now, right here, if you have a better idea, either use the report designer or the bar in the overview page to create some new reports, and then use those as your personal KPIs, whatever works out best for you. Now, once again, as a reminder, these dashboards are a jumping off point for you. They'll give you a lot of useful information, but we understand that every firm has different priorities. So simply make sure that you are customizing your dashboards and creating new ones as you see fit. The last preset dashboard you'll have access to is the time utilization one. Now, this one is all about time entries and their management. Think about what you were trying to accomplish by using the previous two dashboards that we talked about. You made sure your revenue stream is running smoothly, and you made sure your employees are completing their work. At a glance, that might seem like it's enough information, but efficiency plays a large role in your business performance, even if other areas look satisfactory. Your employees should consistently use time entries whenever they are working. That's not only useful for your general firm management, but also for the purpose of accurately billing your clients. If you bill your clients flat fees or based on the service you provide, then it isn't really that important. But I know the majority of firms out there base their costs on the time that they spent working on those particular services. Now, assuming you are in the latter category, the time utilization dashboard will show you your team's utilization rates, or in other words, how much of their recorded time is billable. Now, with this, you'll want most of the recorded time, of course, to be billable. So if you see your percentages dropping, well, then you need to take a look into the cause. Very similar to our previous example with the number of completed tasks dropping. Now, I also have the same report shown in a table style here because I want to see more information listed, such as the billable revenue per hour. Knowing this helps me not just see if an employee's time is billable, but also how much money they are effectively generating per hour. So by keeping an eye on your metrics, you'll always be able to stay on top of things and make sure your business is running smoothly and efficiently. Now, one more function that can help you with this is the option to filter your dashboards. At the top of them, you'll see fields which you can modify to narrow down the metrics to more specific ones. Now, this is functionally similar to the filter function that I showed you inside the individual reports. However, the filters you choose here affect every report in the dashboard. For example, if you're looking for the utilization rate for time entries related to a specific service, as an example, like for example, tax preparation. Okay, great. Then you could select it here and all the shown statistics would be about the time entries that had the matching service selected. Now, at this point, I'm sure you can see how the different reports and dashboards cover the most important aspects of your firm's performance. Running a business without paying attention to all the metrics that I've shown you is certain to lose potential revenue and, in turn, customers. Since if your team isn't performing very well, their service is lacking, well, your client satisfaction is guaranteed to drop as well, and that means customers walking out the door. That's not what anybody wants. The last functions we want to dedicate a bit of time to are the ways you'll present and export the information in your reports. On a day-to-day basis, you will be checking your reports regularly in your portal. However, if you need to share the information with the rest of your team, or you need to export it for files every week or month or quarter that you'd like to save, well, you can still do that. First, let's say you built a custom dashboard where you pinned all the information you're willing to share with your team. Great. What you would then do here is scroll to the top of the page and click on the three dots in the top right. You will see an option to present the data. It will open up all your reports in a slideshow format, and you'll go through all the reports one by one. You can also choose to present just individual reports the same way by clicking the same option in the tile. Now, if you want to download report data, well, then we can go about it in two ways. The first one is to download the reports or the whole dashboard as a PDF. Once again, use the three dots, and this time just select download. You'll be able to choose the style and then simply complete the download. Alternatively, you can download the individual reports, but if you try that, you'll have different format options. You can download them as a PNG, which is a picture format, or an XLSX and CSV formats, which of course are both spreadsheets. Now, in my case, I might want to download this graph as a picture for the sake of easier visualization. But if I go to the timesheets tab where I can see all the recorded time entries for a set period, well, then I might prefer to download this as a spreadsheet and modify it later. So now that we've gone through the main functions, let's circle back and talk about what you should be doing once you start using the reporting features. The first thing you should do is visit the preset dashboards that I showed you. Those will instantly give you insight into various aspects of your business. From helping you see information regarding your age receivables to seeing your team's weekly or daily performance, the reports will help you improve things your firm might have been struggling with or maybe not paying attention to without you even realizing it, or at the very least, without needing to spend too much time gathering that information. Once you familiarize yourself with them, you'll want to start creating your own dashboards and reports. For the dashboards, just visit the Dashboards page, click on the New Dashboard button in the top right, and then name it. You'll be able to freely edit it afterwards, but it will most likely be blank initially. To fix that, of course, you will need to pin some reports to it. You can either pin any of the existing reports that came with the preset dashboards that we just got done talking about, or you can make completely new ones and then pin those. Just remember, if you want to manually build your custom reports by selecting the precise information you want, use the Report Designer. That's where you'll see all the information listed, and you can generate reports based on whatever you need to see. The alternative is going to the Overview page and then using the search bar that you'll find there. You can type in what you're looking for, and thanks to some AI assistance, you'll receive a report matching your description. You can then save it or pin it directly to one of your dashboards. This will range from information about how many tasks your team completed on time to the total duration of time entries for each service. Now, those are just some general examples of what you can use the reports for, but you can make unique reports for whatever information could help you relieve some of those pain points that we've been talking about here. And once you have both your dashboards and your reports set up, you'll just want to add some KPIs to your overview page. Those will play a huge role when it comes to the convenience for firm owners and whoever is taking care of the reporting. Having all the important data available at a glance without needing to go through any menus is as easy as one can have it. And on top of that, after the initial setup, finding any information can be done with just a couple of clicks. Now, in the future, we are going to release various additions and improvements to the reporting functions like profitability reports, scheduled report sending, and much more. So be sure to stay tuned for those. Now, we did spend a lot of time talking about how you'll use the reporting tools, but I want to bring up one final point. Your reports will only benefit from you using TaxDome to its fullest. All the information the reports can gather are based on your team's usage of TaxDome. So the more integrated TaxDome becomes into your firm, the better your reports will be. And in turn, you'll be able to make better business decisions. But now that we have finished up talking about all of these features, let's take a moment to recap everything that we went through in this webinar, and we're going to wrap things up. We started off by talking about the benefits of reporting and the struggles that are often associated with the traditional means of creating reports. Right after that, we talked about TaxDome's new reporting tools and outlined the way it's structured and, of course, how it all works. We then switched to the portal to show you the features in a live setting in order to help you familiarize yourself with them. We primarily focused on the preset dashboards and reports that you will have access to as well. So everything you saw me show off in the portal, that's going to be there for you too. We spent some time going through all the dashboards and the extra features, and then gave you a general game plan for how you should approach the reporting in your own portal. Now, I'm sure all of you saw the value in the reporting tools that we showcased today, so you will most likely have more questions about all those features. I would certainly recommend visiting our Help Center, where we have a section dedicated to all the reporting help articles and videos. However, if you still find yourself having questions or if you need some help, make sure to reach out to our team. We're happy to help you out. And that is it for today, folks. Thank you for joining me once again and taking the time out of your day to watch this webinar. I certainly hope you have a great day and a great week ahead of you. Thanks again.